Welcome back to the AI Breakdown Brief, all the AI headline news you need in around 5 minutes. Today, we kick off with one of the hottest parts of the AI space, which is, of course, the competition around LLMs for coding. Now, it is perhaps no surprise that developers are some of the earliest adopters of artificial intelligence. I mean, it's the cohort that built the tools, so it's not surprising that they're using them. What might be surprising is just how profligate they already are. In June, GitHub released the results of a developer survey where they found that 92% of developers in the US are already using AI coding tools both in and outside of work. On top of that, 70% of developers say AI coding tools will offer them an advantage at work, thinking that it will lead to better code quality, faster completion time, and an easier ability to resolve incidents. And 4 out of 5 developers also think that AI coding tools will help make their team more collaborative. Given all that, it's not a surprise that there is a lot of competition around which LLM is best for coding. 2 interesting announcements on that front. The first comes from Stability AI, who keep up their absolutely relentless release schedule with the announcement of StableCode. The company claims that StableCode is the first LLM product entirely focused on coding. The announcement post writes, StableCode offers a unique way for developers to become more efficient by using 3 different models to help in their coding. The base model was first trained on a diverse set of programming languages from the stack dataset from Big Code, and then trained further with popular languages like Python, Go, Java, JavaScript, C, Markdown, and C++. After the base model had been established, the instruction model was then tuned for specific use cases to help solve complex programming tasks. 120,000 code instruction response pairs in alpaca format were trained on the base model to achieve this result. Still, the big sell for StableCode is what they claim is the biggest token context window for any open LLM coding model. The version of StableCode that is available as their long context window model has a context window of 16,000 tokens, which they say can handle 2 to 4 times more code than previously released open models. Now, of course, as soon as this was released, developers started looking at how it compared in terms of coding benchmarks. Prince Kanuma tweets, "The instruction-tuned StableCode variant performs competitively with the Llama 2 75 billion params variant on the human eval benchmark. It also outperforms all other Llama 2 variants while significantly smaller at only 3 billion parameters." Interestingly, Stability AI CEO Ahmad Mostak didn't love what evaluation models the company had presented. He said, "Human eval isn't the best benchmark for a code completion model. Team are working on better ones for this and other code tasks, as well as specific models for use cases. Still, can only beat the benchmark in front of you." Clem, the CEO of Hugging Face, however, responded and suggested that Stability AI add the StableCode model to Hugging Face's multilingual code evals, which Ahmad dutifully agreed to. That said, Lubna Ben Allah, an ML engineer at Hugging Face, wrote, "I added StableCode Completion Alpha 3B to the leaderboard. It's competitive with smaller size models on Python, Java, JavaScript, and C++, but has poor performance on the rest." Now, this is less than 24 hours old, so I think it's not exactly clear where this sits relative to other LLMs that are used for coding. But what is clear is just how big an area of competition this is. Another AI-related coding announcement yesterday came from Google. Lior at AlphaSignal AI writes, "Just in, Google announces a new browser-based code environment. It will bring the entire full-stack and app development workflow to the cloud. It also includes generative AI features based on PaLM 2, code generation, code completion, translating code between languages, code explanation." To learn more about this, you can go to idx.dev. Google describes the project by saying, "These days, launching applications means navigating an endless sea of complexity. We felt this pain at Google, so we started Project IDX, an experimental new initiative aimed at bringing your entire full-stack multi-platform app development workflow to the cloud." And while this isn't just about AI, that is definitely one of the big features they're pushing. They write, "Work quickly and efficiently with AI assistance from Google built in, including code generation, code completion, translating code between programming languages, explaining code, and more, all powered by Cody, a foundational AI model trained on code and built on PaLM 2. Project IDX is currently available by waitlist only." Next up on the brief, what has to be one of the most obvious and predictable about faces in history. After throwing an absolute hissy fit around the Drake track that came out earlier this year, Hard on My Sleeve, which was of course an AI track, now it appears that labels including Universal Music and Warner are in conversations with Google about licensing artists' IP, including their voices, melodies, and more, to create an IP-approved platform for people to develop AI music. The reporting comes from the Financial Times. The way they characterize it is discussions between Google and Universal Music are at an early stage and no product launch is imminent, but the goal is to develop a tool for fans to create these tracks legitimately and pay the owners of the copyrights for it, said people close to the situation. Artists would have the choice to opt in, the people said. Now, this reminds me quite a bit of an idea posted by Product Hunt founder Ryan Hoover in April. Back then, he wrote, Free startup idea that will likely get you sued. AI Spotify. How it works. AI Spotify hosts AI-generated music of your favorite artists. Anyone can submit music and the best songs surface based on listens and likes. Music with the most listens earns a pro rata share of subscription revenue reserved for the original artists. For example, Drake could claim money generated from his likeness on the platform. Artists that do not want to participate can opt out entirely, banning any music that uses their likeness, or individually allow songs they endorse. Of course, there are many ethical and legal issues with this model, especially with labels, but maybe this is a germ of a shower thought that has potential. Now, this to me seems absolutely like the only path that makes any sort of sense. TLDR, you can't put the genie of AI music back in the lamp once it's released. There's simply going to be too many models, too many tools, and too much publicly available content to train those models on to not see just a ton of AI tracks. In that context, to use the classic phrase, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. It appears that Warner and Universal are thinking in exactly the same way and are out to get their cut. A quick one from the world of policy and health AI. Reports have been that Google has been testing its MedPalm 2 model in hospitals for some of this year, and at least one senator, Senator Mark Warner, is not happy about it. The Virginia Democrat sent a letter to the CEO of Google on Tuesday, basically warning them off a further rollout. The letter said, "While the technology has shown some promising results, there are also concerning reports of repeated inaccuracies and of Google's own senior researchers expressing reservations about the readiness of the technology." Warner basically accuses Google of sort of the same thing that Geoffrey Hinton has accused the entire big tech space of, which is racing to get AI models that aren't fully tested and aren't fully safe out because of the pressure of competition. So far, Google is standing its grounds, saying that the rollout is extremely limited and that the company doesn't control any private data. Lastly, a nice positive one to end the AI breakdown brief today. A new AI model called HelioLink 3D has been used to spot asteroids that could in the future pose a threat to Earth. The team from the University of Washington claims that the new AI model can identify asteroids with just half the observations that were needed before. Mario Jurek, the director of the Dirac Institute at the University of Washington that developed the model, writes, "The solar system is home to millions of rocky bodies ranging from small asteroids a few feet in diameter to dwarf planets the size of our moon. Most of them are distant, but a number orbit close to the Earth. These are known as near-Earth objects. The closest of these, whose trajectories take them within 5 million miles of the Earth's orbit, warrant special attention. The large, very nearby objects are known as potentially hazardous asteroids, PHAs. They're systematically searched for and monitored to ensure they won't collide with Earth. Astronomers search for PHAs using specialized telescope systems. The NASA-funded ATLAS survey is a prime example. To find asteroids, ATLAS takes images of parts of the sky at least 4 times every night. A discovery is made when they notice a point of light moving unambiguously in a straight line over the image series. Now from there, Jurek explains the development of the Rubin Observatory, which is an observatory that will be based in the Chilean Andes and which could increase the discovery rate of PHAs. Jurek writes, "To be even more efficient, it will visit spots on the sky just twice each night rather than the 4 times needed by present telescopes. But with this novel observing cadence, we need a new type of discovery algorithm to reliably spot space rocks." And that is, of course, where the HelioLink 3D model came in. The big deal, Jurek says, is that it can identify asteroids with much fewer, up to 50% and more dispersed observations than required by today's methods. Now, Jurek says that the asteroid they discovered, 2022 SF289, while coming close to the Earth, its closest approach brings it within 140,000 miles of Earth's orbit, which is closer than the Moon. It currently poses no danger of hitting Earth for the foreseeable future. Still, the urgency is that while we've identified 2,350 PHAs, scientists believe there are more than 3,000 yet to be found. And so perhaps AI is not just for stealing our jobs, but for avoiding a real-life replay of Michael Bay's 1990s classic Armageddon. Thanks as always for listening or watching to the AI Breakdown Brief. I'll be back soon with the main AI Breakdown.